I will say before I start my statement that I think really for right-hearted, right-minded folks, we've heard enough. It is beyond question that a massacre occurred in 1921. It's beyond question that death happened and murder happened and bombs from airplanes fell on Tulsa. And what holds us up for a century are those that would want us to just say, God bless America. Those that would want us to say that America is the greatest country that we could ever think of. But what we fail to understand is that as we are all American, we're not all treated as the best Americans should be. And I think that we've had a marvelous example of those that have given their lives, that have served this country. And even today, they say perhaps God allowed them to live this long just so they could see this day, to make it for the first time to Washington, D.C. And we hope that the welcome is real, and beyond us understanding what happened, we get it. We've been saying it for a long time, but beyond saying it and beyond hearing it, where are the doers of God's word? So we're just saying that beyond the, we feel sorry for you, you're nice senior citizens, thank you for stopping by, they stopped by for justice. And I'm just hoping that right hearts and minds will prevail so that the John Hope Franklin that has passed on, who we had the privilege of knowing, he died seeking justice. My great-great-grandfather, James Henry Goodwin, he was in Tulsa. My great-grandmother, Carly Marie Goodwin, she was in Tulsa. My grandfather, Edward Goodwin, and my aunt, Anna Goodwin, all Tulsans, all survivors of the 1921 Race Massacre. They went to the courthouse, the district courthouse, in 1921. They were not too late. The statute of limitations had not expired. And they went saying that we had property, some 14 properties. We had a building at 123 North Greenwood. My great-grandmother talked of her silverware and her linen, and she talked about her feather mattresses, and she talked about the piano destroyed. She talked about the books in the library gone. And she had the courage when murderers were still walking the streets of Greenwood, when arsonists who thought that they should just light curtains on fire and destroy 35 square blocks. She had the courage in the midst of all of that chaos, all of that mayhem, to say, you took from me what was mine. We worked hard for what we had. We had a tight-knit Black community because segregation would not allow us to interact with our other human beings who just happen to be another color. And we made a great community. And when she went to the courthouse, she was rejected outright. So you can't say the statute of limitations ran out. What you can say what had run out and what we did not have in supply was justice. And then I also think about my grandfather, who was in high school at the time. And he was a senior, just like anybody else who was privileged to get that far in school and to graduate. And he was decorating a hotel at the time and preparing for graduation exercises. And all they heard was that trouble is coming. And how would they have known that trouble is coming meant the worst racist terrorist attack on American soil in history? How would they have known that the theaters that they would attend and black owned, the hotels that they were decorating, right, which would rival any white hotel in terms of its quality, in terms of its grandeur, how would they have known that trouble is coming meant that that community was going to be consumed, first of all, with hatred and then with fire? And that airplanes would fly overhead and drop bombs. It is a history that we as descendants have known all of our lives. and I was blessed to grow up in that Greenwood community. And it's somewhat disturbing to know that that incident that set off that 1921 race massacre was basically a lie. And it was a lie that took lives. It was that same old story about the scary, savage Black man who somehow was harming the white damsel in distress. And we know that was not even the case.
Representative Goodwin, we're going to have to wrap up. Can you wrap up? You're a minute over.
Yes, I will wrap it up. I will say this. Reparations are due. The harm is ongoing. And Tulsa now, when you still have the same ownership as it was in 1921, when the unemployment rate is 2.5 times that of our white counterparts, when criminal justice reform is not happening in Tulsa, those same police, that same state, that same city that was complicit, it exists today. Reparations are due. Restoration is due. Restitution is due. Thank you so much for allowing me to go a bit over time. We've got 3 great examples staring us in the face, crying out for justice. All we have to do is answer. Thank you.